It's time for Mac Geek Gab, and listener Kiwi Graham brings us our quick tip of the week with, "Hi folks, I just noticed on iOS 26 that a swipe left on the recent call list in the iPhone app gives a clock icon action as well as a trash icon. Tapping the clock allows you to set a callback reminder. I don't recall seeing that feature in the previous iOS versions, but maybe I just missed it. More tips like this, plus your questions answered today on Mac Geek Gab 1112 for Monday, October 20th, 2025.
Greetings, folks, and welcome to Mac Geek Gab, the show where, like Adam said, you send in your tips, we share them. You send in your cool stuff found, we share them. You send in your don't get caughts, we share them. You send in your questions, we share them. Maybe even answer them. Hopefully answer them. In an agenda that is organized such that each of us gets to learn at least 5 new things every single time we come together, which is usually weekly, very usually weekly. Habitually weekly, obsessively weekly. Sponsors for this episode include Barebones Software's BBEdit at barebones.com, an app that is always open on my Mac. I was just checking to see if, yep, it's there. And gusto.com/MGG. That's where you can go to get 3 months free when you run your first payroll with this very cool service. We'll talk more about both of these in a little bit. For now, here on Information Overload Day in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
And here in South Dakota, I'm Adam Christensen.
And here also in New Hampshire, it's Pilot Pete. Good to be back with you guys. This weekly appointment that we seem to have obsessively.
Yes, our obsessive weekly appointment. Yeah.
Yes.
Obsessively will remind us weekly of the Mac Geek Gab giveaway at macgeekgab.com/giveaway. And this month it is Power Photos. We are giving away several licenses to that. So make sure you go sign up for that because it's one of those apps that's like crucial to troubleshooting and just manipulating your photos library. So one of my favorite apps. It's always been one of my favorite apps. And it was when it was iCloud Photo Library Manager, or whatever it was before it was, or, I don't know, iPhoto Library Manager, IPLM, iPhoto Library Manager, as it used to be called. I just had to think of the thing. But yeah, it's awesome.
It's amazing. Yep. One of those tools we recommend over and over and over again. So
over and over.
You should sign up to get yourself a copy.
Yep. Yepper. All right. I'm looking at the
tip quickly.
Quickly tip, Pete. We got to be careful here.
This one comes to us from Jim in Metro Detroit. He writes, "This is one of those shortcuts probably everybody knows. We're all used to swiping down on our iPads and iPhones to launch Spotlight search. While I was already in an app, I instinctively typed Command Space on my iPad's keyboard cover with muscle memory from using my Mac. Much to my delight, that also launches Spotlight, ready for text input from my keyboard in a floating window in front of the current app. Not sure if this works on all third-party keyboards, but I bet it does. But it sure works with Apple's first-party keyboard case. So, very cool."
Huh. All right. Yeah, I like it. Do either of you guys use a keyboard with your iPads?
No, but I had occasion to use a keyboard with my iPhone, and I directly connected my keyboard to my iPhone with a cable.
Yeah.
Cool. I was having to do some testing, some QA testing for accessibility for some adjustments we were doing to navigation menus and stuff like that. And so like keyboard access for navigation menus on an iPhone.
Huh. And you just plugged it in USB-C and there was no fanfare, right? Just works. Yeah, okay.
It just works.
Yeah.
But no, normally I do not use a keyboard with those things. Right. I haven't been using a keyboard with my Apple Vision Pro, which I probably should use.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
But more and more, I'm just going to dictation for that kind of stuff.
Yep. Yeah, the keyboard. I mean, the keyboard is one of the slowest ways of interface. Like we need to be able to project our thoughts
There you go.
securely and selectively. But yeah, there needs to be something. I do find that even on my Mac, I'm dictating things. Like when I use, if I'm starting a project with ChatGPT, I'll use your tip, Pete, and just hit the microphone thing and just talk at it.
Right. Yeah.
Because I can just sort of riff, and I don't. It doesn't need to be formed into a sentence that anybody should ever have to comprehend or anything. You know, I'm just like throwing ideas and words, and then it's like, all right, yeah. After 2 or 3 minutes, I'm like, yeah, that's good, and I hit send, and it, you know, digests it, and that's usually a good starting point for a project for me. So
Nice.
yeah,
For sure. All right. I got one from GW here.
okay.
GW wrote in and said, I have been a long time Excel user at work, and I did adore diving into Excel spreadsheets all day. But after using Numbers, since I have retired and have all Apple devices, Numbers is now my go-to for spreadsheets. It took a minute to realize that each table and chart is totally independent on the same sheet. My sheets look so good now. They do. I love Numbers. My next thing is how to send them to Windows users that have Excel. I really wish they kept making Bento for their database app. Anyway, keep up the great shows. And I would totally agree. I miss Bento. Bento was a fun little DB app. I know there's a few apps out there that do like local databases. You know, I think we used to miss AppleWorks. Used to have it way back in the day. They had a great database in there, and then we had FileMaker. There was a light version. Bento was like the light version of FileMaker, basically.
Yeah,
and then it all went away.
I live in FileMaker every day still. FileMaker is one of those apps that I could do a cool stuff found every week and mention FileMaker and just how great it is, and just how, I mean, the enhancements that keep coming every year with the new versions. It is an app that makes it so easy to create your own interfaces. I mean, yes, it's a database, but the way to think about it is, you know, you want to create a customer relationship manager or whatever. Like our CRM and our billing system at Backbeat uses FileMaker. I have a little like press contacts database that I use when we like anytime we mention a product on the show. I have a little thing, and I go to their deal, and I built a little and you're just doing, like, you're not writing any code. You're just kind of like laying out the screen, and there you go with FileMaker, and it auto sends the emails to all the people in the contacts database. And like I wrote that whole thing one day years ago on a Amtrak train to New York. It was just like, and I say wrote, but really I just, you know, kind of, it's like, what fields do I want? How do I want them laid out? And it's like, yeah, there it is. And it's multi-user, and like, yeah, it's all the things.
It's kind of expensive. That's all.
It is, but now with the subscriptions and such, it's you're not having to necessarily invest in buying your own copy of FileMaker Server. You still can, and sometimes that's the right way to go, but there are other paths. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, I do miss the light option. So,
so the other tip, and I don't know what happened. I just lost the notes because I had some pieces in there. But no, I don't know. It should have gone back in the current show, but it's gone.
That's on me. I auto archive things when I think we're done with them. So
okay. So I had replied because on the sharing numbers documents with Windows user site or PC users, Windows user sites of things, you can use iCloud numbers. So it's like iCloud.com/numbers, and you can share via the web interface, just like you would for Google Docs or Microsoft 365. I think you do have to sign up. If you're sharing, you do have to sign up for an Apple ID or an Apple account, but that's free, and you can do that. So if you really did want to collaborate and share numbers documents, that's one way to go. I don't know how feature parity it is with the desktop, but I would imagine it's pretty good. I haven't used it, so I'd be curious if anybody in our audience is using the web versions to do collaborative numbers and pages and any of those sorts of things, and how their experiences are. So feedback at mac@geekgab.com, and let us know if you are using that. I don't know how many people actually do use it, but it's there, and I think it's easy to forget about.
You heard him. Let us know at feedback at macgeekgab.com.
I think it's feedback at macgeekgab.com, Pete. I think that's what he said. Yeah.
Yep, that would be great. I'm curious.
Yeah,
I've never really used it, but I know it's there.
Same. I still use LibreOffice as my when I know that I am going to be, especially when I know that I'm going to be emailing around a spreadsheet with mixed platform people. I just use LibreOffice, and I set LibreOffice not to save in the whatever open doc format or whatever. I set it to save in Word, DocX and XLSX format, and it is flawless. It is exactly a clone of Excel. Again, if I'm building a spreadsheet for me, I'm either doing it in numbers if I want it to be local, or I'm doing it in either Synology Office web. But I suppose I could use numbers on the web too. Just one more place to keep things. But yeah. I love Synology Office. It's like, I mean, it's like host your own Google Office, so which is great. So, but yeah, this is another. I like this. This is another way to go. Last weekend, I'm on the couch. And I go to do a thing where I want to remote access, screen share into my Mac Mini in the office, and it won't answer. It's like, this is offline. And I'm like, why is my Mac Mini in the office offline? Like, I have it set not to sleep because it does some things, and so I ping it, and it's there, and I SSH in, and this happened 2 weekends in a row, and it finally dawned on me this week what happened. I SSH in, and it's like, oh, you need to enter your user password to unlock this Mac. And I'm like, right. But usually, like, I have SSH set up with keys, so it would just let me in. But I'm like, all right, whatever. And I type in my user password, and it says, okay, great. And it logs me out and says, now you can log back in normally. I'm like, oh, okay. And sure enough, I was able to log back in, and then I could screen share and all that stuff. And what I realized happened, I have my computer set to reboot every Saturday morning in the office, right? So, but that is fine. Like it should, like, screen share comes back up after a reboot, no problem. But it doesn't if FileVault is on. And upgrading to macOS 26 Tahoe enabled FileVault on my Mac that previously did not have FileVault enabled. I'm sure it said it quietly somewhere in the process, but I sure missed it. And my guess is somebody else out there missed it too. And I was able to go in and turn off FileVault. But there is this second quick tip here in that Tahoe now also allows you to SSH into a machine and unlock FileVault from SSH. So if you're running the command line version of Tailscale, it's not active at this point. So you would need another machine, like on your network, if you're trying to do this remotely, that you could get through to. But it does make it relatively simple to now unlock a machine with FileVault with SSH. So at least there's that. But this particular machine, I do not want FileVaulted. I want it, when it reboots, I want it to, like, come all the way back up, because otherwise it's not helping me with the things that I need help with. So, yupper. I love that Apple does that for us. I suppose it's probably going to do more help than harm, but I'm not a fan. So, thanks to SccrHallways in Discord for highlighting that unlock via SSH. That was a pretty good thing. So, yupper.
Huh. So I guess we'll get nerdy again. We got a little nerdy on, I think it was 110?
1110. That's 1110. Right. Yeah.
I was lamenting I had done my upgrade from my Intel machine to my new M4 MacBook Pro, and didn't back up my my SQL databases, my MariaDB databases, basically, and so it's been a heck of a time like getting those running again because new binaries and different things. So let's see who wrote in here. Dave.
Listener Dave, not
Listener
me.
Dave wrote in and said, hey, I would suggest running MariaDB instead of via the binary install that you run it in Docker. He says, I use this at work so that I can have multiple versions of the DB running on the same machine with each one on its own port. I will run multiple versions of MySQL, MariaDB, and Postgres on my work machine. And that's a great way to go. I probably should be doing it for my entire setup because I run into this all the time.
Yeah.
So I have a full like LAMP stack or whatever we're calling it these days. So I run PHP, I run MySQL or MariaDB and Apache and all that fun stuff. And I've thought about doing it that way. I just always run it just like, I homebrew all that stuff on there and just go that route. I even do that with my work machine. But yeah, Docker is an awesome way to go for a lot of things. I used to run a Minecraft server inside Docker on my Synology. So,
oh yeah, I did that
I have
too.
the Synology. I could do this. I could put it on the Synology and not even have it on my Mac. Like there's a million solutions for this. So yes, that's a great tip.
Putting it on your Synology would be great, unless you do work like offline.
Yeah,
but because then
I do work locally.
Then you might want it local.
Yeah. When I'm not at home. You could also that could be set up to be remotely accessible to you. So like,
yeah, for sure. Yeah. I or you could do it with Tailscale so that it's like remote, but only for you, But Docker is one of those things that seems very like that the barrier to entry seems higher than it is in terms of the technical acumen required to spin one up. Certainly, if you're trying to do something very custom with it, then that is correct. But otherwise, the instructions to do Docker with just about anything are pretty straightforward, and there are graphical interfaces for managing Docker. Things like Portainer make it easy. But yeah,
just even Docker Desktop.
I have never used Docker Desktop because I haven't run it on my Mac.
We use it. Didn't
even dawn on me
to spin up our environments because we have a proprietary system. So they've just built. We have all our builds, and when they're running betas and stuff like that internally, and we want to test stuff, we just fire up Docker and make a Docker instance. And
look at this Docker Desktop thing. I've literally never seen this before in my life. I'd heard of it, but I never why would I? Although, can it manage Dockers on a remote system? It's got to be able to, right? So I got to run this on my Mac to manage the Dockers on my other thing. Oh, my life could change here, guys. All right. Yeah, this is good. I got to check this out.
I think it can pull out of version repos. I think ours comes out of a GitHub.
Yeah.
Our different builds and stuff like that.
No, but could I run Docker Desktop on my Mac and have it manage my Docker containers on my Synology disk station?
I would assume so. I don't.
It seems like something one could do. Yes, that seems like a common use case rather. So, all right. Well, I'm going to check that out. Or if you know, feedback at macgeekgab.com, of course. All right. That's I like that. That's good. But yeah, Docker is fantastic. I love it. I was in a Zoom meeting this week, and this has nothing to do with Docker. The person, we were just having a conversation. It's somebody I know very well, but it was a business conversation. And for whatever reason, his microphone was picking up so much deep low end from him. I can't even do the effect for you because I have it tuned out of mine. That it was overwhelming the speakers and the signal such that I was actually having trouble hearing any articulation in his voice and which is where the words come out, And I'm like, oh, this is super frustrating. And so I'm like riding the volume of my speakers. And finally it dawned on me that on my computer in the office, I have Rogue Amoeba's SoundSource installed. And that lets you set different options for different apps on in terms of their sound output. And one of those options is you can run an equalizer. You can also run plugins. You can route it to different speakers. Like, it does all kinds of things. But one of the options is an equalizer. And so I just went into like SoundSource, which lives in my menu bar, and I went to Zoom, the app, not my main speakers because I didn't want to mess with the EQ overall. But I went to Zoom, the app, and just started, pulling down the EQ on the low end. And suddenly his voice just like opened up and it sounded rich and full and clear and all those things. And it was like, yeah, buddy. And the Zoom call. And then I was able to relax and like actually just be part of the conversation instead of like intently trying to just decipher what word he was trying to say each time. So if you run into that or run into something on the other end, like if it's too harsh or whatever, SoundSource might be your friend for that. So I thought, well, there's a quick tip.
I thought you were going to pipe it through audio hijack and then like back in or something.
Well, essentially that is what it doesn't use audio. You don't need audio hijack to do it, but essentially that's what SoundSource does is it's capturing it. I'm sure it's using all the same engines and smarts that they've built for audio hijack and everything else like that. Obviously it would, but this is built for that. And so I just turned on the EQ for Zoom, and I started with bass reducer because they have some presets, and that was like hugely life changing. And then it was like, all right, well, now that I'm going somewhere with this, now I'm going to tweak it and make it sound delicious. And so I did. But
awesome.
Yeah. It's got things like volume overdrive and, like I said, plugins and redirecting. It's an easy to use app that can make your life easier. So I love it.
Heidi has something that could make our lives easier also.
Great.
She says, did you know in 1Password you can press the Option key, and while it's held down, your passwords, PIN numbers, and other hidden fields are revealed. Useful if you need to type them manually into another app. Now, this is not enabled by default, but you can enable it by going into Settings, Security, Concealed Fields, and check the Hold option to toggle Revealed Fields option. And once that's on, this absolutely does work. It works great.
That's awesome. Love it.
Yep. And then the bonus that I discovered while I was trying to figure out how to turn this on is there is a default command that I think is on by default, because I don't remember turning this on in the general settings, but there's like a almost like, I think we call it Siri search now, but it's Sherlock or whatever we're calling it. If you hit Command, Shift, and Spacebar, you get a 1Password like floating menu, and you can search for passwords and access your passwords from a little pop-up UI from anywhere on your Mac.
Nice. Cool. Yeah. I've seen. I mean, I could have gone in and looked. I've seen that shortcut like that widget pop up on my screen before, and I was like, how do I do that? So there you go. Yeah. I have set 1Password to always show passwords and full credit card numbers, and on my phone, on every computer except this one, because I'm petrified of like sharing my screen on the podcast and right. There are some things that this machine I just need to be a little more mindful of, or have it be more mindful of, so that human error doesn't cause any problems. But I find it. The 1Password app is locked, especially on my phone. It's locked with Face ID. Like, I don't want that extra layer. If I have like my credit card up, I want to be able to like swipe through apps and just see like, okay, that's my CVV for this. Okay, great. Now I can, type that in where I need to or whatever. I don't need it hidden from view. And that's a choice each of us gets to make, because there's a checkbox that you can turn that on or off.
I've gone back and forth on that myself, and then the other one is how often I have to repeat my password. Every 30 days, every couple weeks, whatever. It all, of course, it comes up when I need it, and I'm trying to do it one-handed.
Yes, of course. Right. Yeah. I have mine come up as infrequently as possible. So now you know that my 1Password is set to super insecure. But it's like, well, but you have to get into my computer or my phone to do it.
Yeah.
And like, if you're sitting at my computer in my office and I don't know that you're there, first of all, you need to know my password to get in. But even before you type my password, the fact that you are sitting in front of my computer in my office and I don't know that you're there, many other things have gone wrong at this point. Like, it feels like that might be the least of my worries. It might not be. Like if you got into my 1Password, the other worries would come up. But then you'd also have to get into 1Password. So you know, there you go. Yeah.
My a feature I use a lot and often on my iPhone, although this is another one you need to be careful with, depending on who's standing around. But if I'm needing to get into, I'm using another machine that's not mine, right? But I need to get into something. I use the show large type option, which is under the little drop down on the Mac. I forget. It's probably under ... or something on iOS. I don't remember where it is. But basically, it pops up a floating window with all your password in huge, large letters. And then I think symbols are a different color and numbers are a different color. So you can distinguish between, you know, an L and a 1 or a lowercase L and a 1 or something like that. Yeah. And that works great. But again, be careful when using it on your iPhone. If someone's like over your shoulder, it's huge. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like exposed. So,
yeah, if you're sitting in like a conference room or a meeting room or a classroom and you pop that up, everybody behind you's got a clear view of that. Yep. It's perfectly crystal clear for everybody in the back.
It's great for my old eyes when I'm having to manually type a password from 1Password.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Pete, you got one?
I do. Yeah. I think Tony writes in with one, and I've hidden it for myself. There it is.
Great.
Tony sent us an article from tidbits.com about the fact that liquid glass it's beautiful, isn't it? And until it isn't.
Sure.
And you know, it is. It's nice, but it looks like it's here to stay, and the transparency sometimes blurs the visual style across the OSs. And the Tidbits article talks specifically about both iOS and macOS and iPad OS, and apparently tvOS is not as big a deal. I have not upgraded my Mac yet to OS 26, so I only am kind of addressing what I know firsthand here, which is iOS. But some of the UI elements, notifications, sidebars, and all that are harder to read, obviously, when the backgrounds bleed through, depending on what picture or what have you are sitting there. Some apps may look weird or less polished, and transparency gets reduced. Gaps, odd margins, all that stuff comes into play. And so you can go, the Tidbits article that we have linked in the show notes tells about the different settings that you can put in, which include reduce transparency, increase contrast, bold text, or reduce motion. And you can mix and match those settings as needed to get the desire that you look. And the author recommends that you start with all the settings off and see how your device looks. And when readability issues arise, especially in notifications, it seems to be the most prevalent one is reduce transparency first. Turn that one on. And if needed, then increase contrast and then reduce motion. And transparency seems to yield the biggest benefit, according to the author. So
I was going to say, when I first installed the iOS 26 beta, I was like, oh, no. And I just immediately went into accessibility and was like, okay, what can I turn off? And it was like, right, let's try reduce transparency. And suddenly it was like, okay, this is the interface I'm used to now. And then I turned it back on because I realized, okay, I was having change resistance and all that stuff. But yeah, that reduced transparency can make a big difference. As can the others, but I think that, the transparency is generally the big one. So.
Sure. And that article does go into if you're having issues with Mac OS as well. And I just haven't changed over to 26 yet to Tahoe. I need to.
Yeah. The only place I want to talk about that in a little bit. The only place where I still am not enamored with transparency is on my watch. the notifications and stuff. It just gets, it's like, why is the bubble, like the border of the bubble is this, it seems to be the same color as the text. It's like, so why are we doing this? It's not, it doesn't give me that liquid look for whatever reason to my eyes on my watch. It just looks kind of like, like, I don't know. It seems ham-fisted, if you will. And I realize that my watch is on my ham fist, but there you go. All right. Adam, did you have something to add to that, or shall we move on here?
Nope, we're good.
Okay. The next thing that I want to do is I want to talk about one of our sponsors, which is our sponsor Gusto at gusto.com/MGG. You know how we say don't get caught without the right tools right here? I've been looking at Gusto actually for one of my other businesses, and this is what they're doing is pretty cool. Gusto is online payroll and benefits software built for small businesses. It's all in one, it's remote friendly, and incredibly easy to use. So you can pay, hire, onboard, and support your team from anywhere, which is super great. And the automation in Gusto is right up our alley. Offer letters, direct deposits, onboarding, compliance. It's like having your own HR assistant that never forgets a deadline. If only, right? Here, I'm my HR assistant, so I forget deadlines all the time. And there are no hidden fees, just unlimited payroll runs for one monthly price. As nerds, the fact that Gusto dashboard makes all the complicated stuff feel simple, it's our kind of platform, right? And yes, I've had enough of clunky payroll systems. We need Gusto in our world. And so do you. Try Gusto today at gusto.com/MGG and get 3 months free when you run your first payroll. That's gusto.com/MGG for 3 months of free payroll. One more time, gusto.com/MGG. Don't get caught doing payroll the hard way. And our thanks to Gusto for sponsoring this episode. Guys, there was some vendor news in the last couple of weeks that I want to talk about. The first one comes from our friends at Synology. Remember how they were heading down this very unpopular path of mandating that all 2025 and later disk stations needed to use Synology branded or Synology approved drives? Uh-huh. They've walked back that. DSM 7.3 now is out and relaxes those drive restrictions. And thank you to everybody that wrote in about this. Bob and Tony wrote in about it. I think Allison wrote in. It was like a lot of us wrote in. But great news that this long national nightmare is over, and we can actually just put drives that we want into the disk station. I will point out that, and I know we pointed this out on a previous episode, someone had come up with a workaround that would let you put your own drives into the 2025 disk station before DSM 7.3 came out. It was very easy to implement. It was basically just replacing the list of approved drives with a better and bigger list, and everything was fine. So if this ever comes back around, likely there will still be a workaround for it. But it's nice to see Synology kind of backing off on that and realizing where their customers are. I give them a lot of credit for doing that. So, yep.
Nice.
So I got on that. Yeah. So it hadn't affected me yet, but it eventually would. So,
yeah. Thank goodness. Apple did a bunch of stuff in the last week here. They announced they announced new chips, a new Vision Pro, a new iPad, new MacBook Pro, all with M5 chips. We can talk about that in a little bit. But they also announced this Apple TV and Peacock bundle, which it combines what formerly was called Apple TV Plus with Apple TV. It's now Apple TV, right? So, like, we got to get our heads around that
which is great because there's so many things called Apple TV. There's a TV app. There's a piece of hardware called Apple TV. Now there's a service called Apple TV. I'm loving it. Just really makes life easy. Just call everything Apple TV and you're probably right, even though you have no idea what you're talking about. But this new bundle begins the day the show comes out on the 20th of October. And you can subscribe for $14.99 a month, and that gets you Apple TV and Peacock Premium, or $19.99, easy for me to say, and that gets you Peacock Premium Plus. And if you are on an Apple One plan, on the Family or Premier plan, you can subscribe to Peacock Premium Plus and get a 35% discount, which is an interesting thing that Apple sort of negotiated there. So I don't know. I think it's interesting seeing Apple partnering with folks. Apple's not like this seems atypical. Is it? Are they going to buy them? Like,
yeah, maybe.
What's happening here?
Yeah.
I don't know. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
That was the thing everyone wanted them to do at the beginning.
At the beginning, correct.
Partner with some of these studios.
Correct.
And all that. Although the stuff they've created on their own is pretty good quality. So.
It is. Yeah, I mean, they haven't. Some of it they've created on their own, and some of it they've just bought. Right. You know,
Fair
off
enough.
the shelf, essentially. But that's fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with either one of those things.
Right.
Yeah, I know. It's interesting. I wonder if we're going to see more and more consolidation in the streaming service market and get right back to, the monolithic, you must buy everything from one place.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know if that's dead forever or if, because there seems to be, I would think there seems to be some demand for that. It's, where do I find this? Finding what you want to watch is a difficult thing.
It is.
So, yeah.
Yep. It's fun. It's fun. So this new M5 chip that came out this week here, I guess it's a faster neural engine, more targeted for AI things, more GPUs, more onboard memory. And it's interesting to me that the way, especially with the MacBook Pro that's out, they're talking about how it's a 6x improvement over your M1 Mac. So, it's interesting seeing Apple pushing that not just Intel people upgrade to, Apple Silicon, but Apple Silicon people, even like the first adopters that are still on M1, of which I am one in my office. It's like, oh, maybe you should upgrade, which I just find interesting because it's been 5 years since the first M1s came out, right?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting that they're trying to make that case because I think for the vast majority of people, you're not going to tell the difference. Like I have my M4 MacBook Pro now. I also run my work machine, which is the original M1 MacBook Pro. And I can tell you day to day, I couldn't, you could blind test me on which one's plugged in, and I would not know the difference if it was running, the same apps and system and stuff like that. I don't do anything on my machine that really requires any of that extra stuff. I mean, they've all got the same features. They both have Apple Intelligence. They both have, that's great. Like if you need that extra power, like if you're doing really high end stuff, then yeah, maybe it makes sense. But I think the vast majority of people, if you're on an M1 versus an M4 or an M5 or an M3 or an M2 or whatever, I think you're going to notice it.
How much RAM does your M1 MacBook
8.
Pro have?
8.
8. Okay. Because I'm starting, and I think this might just be either the way, it's something to do with the way Tahoe and my install on my M1 Mini in the office are, but I'm feeling like I'm running out of RAM, even though that's not what's happening, right? So,
did it only start with Tahoe?
Yes,
because I'm not running Tahoe yet. So
right
now, let the conspiracy theories begin. That Apple is pushing you upgrade your M series machines, and now they've tweaked the operating system to make sure that you'll want to.
Well, and
It's probably not what's happening, but
but I wonder
if it's starting to be
if it is a RAM thing, because I've got 16 gigs of RAM in that one, and I'm wondering with Apple Intelligence and all this other stuff, like is the baseline requirement plus what I do with it. I like to have lots of things open and going, and so is my use case the thing where it's like it's probably time to bump up. But I also think, and it's gotten better with 2601, but my computer, and I've been on Tahoe since a few days before it was released. I put the final release candidate or whatever on the Gold Master, and to this day, it is still seeming like it's doing routine, like perpetual indexing. So I think something went wrong on mine, but I'm not the only one out there that's experiencing this. But I either need to like go and wipe all my indexes and just have it kind of restart the indexing process, or I might try a nuke and pave, which seems so painful, but it's not it's never as painful as I make it out to seem. But that's like, I don't know if I want to do that. But I before I buy a new computer, I will do a nuke and pave on that. My laptop is not doing this perpetual indexing thing, so maybe that's an indicator. I don't know. So, but it did seem to get better with 2601 when that came out. It was like it chilled out, and now it's only like one thing that's doing it. Not Media Analysis D was just constantly re-indexing my photos library over and over and over and over. Yeah. No, it's no bueno. But 2601 seemed to fix that for me. But File Provider D seems to want to just it's doing something, which is strange. So maybe it's something, because File Provider D is like what syncing engines will use to monitor folders. So, iCloud Drive, but also Dropbox, which I don't run, Synology Drive, which I do run. So maybe there's something there. I don't know, but got to figure that out. Maybe I just go, I'll try quitting Synology Drive and see if it goes away. All right. Yeah. But anyway, I think you're right that like in general, people don't need to upgrade yet. I think it's still a 10-year cycle, not a 5-year cycle. Yeah.
Probably.
Unless you're on Intel, in which case it's time. Yes. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But if you get an M5, just remember that driving home, you'll see the billboard for the M6.
Yes.
Well, I'm feeling that a little bit. I just got my M4 and I'm like, oh, there's an M5 now. I knew it was going to happen. I'm naive about this stuff. And as we've always said, buy a machine when you need a machine. And it was time for me to get a new machine. So I'm very happy with my purchase. And again, I don't see that much difference. I mean, same thing like on this Vision Pro update. It's just like we have a Vision Pro chat. Barry and George and I have kind of this chat because we play an online Vision Pro game together once in a while, and so they're always updating that chat thread with like information, and I didn't even know this announcement had happened, and then they were posting about it, and they're like, "Are you going to upgrade?" And it's like, "Well, no, there's no trade-in." So you can't trade in your old Apple Vision Pro for anything. It's still the same price. And I'm like, well, what did they add? Well, you've got a dual knit band. You've got 10% more pixels. You have a refresh rate of 120 hertz versus 100 hertz. The biggest thing in there is the updates to the neural engine, which is supposedly 50% faster kind of AI stuff. So that maybe makes a difference. But it's like, no, I'm not going to spend another $3,800 to upgrade. Now, granted, I would assume on the secondary market, original Apple Vision Pro, you probably could get some good money for, but you're going to have to sell it yourself to recoup that money. So like, no, I don't need this. I don't need this upgrade. My Vision Pro works great. I love it. And the dual knit headband you can buy for $99. So if I want that, I'm going to wait for the reviews to see how good that is. There's other options that I've been looking into for more comfort. But I don't see justification for first gen owners to upgrade. It's a great update if you were considering a Vision Pro and haven't, dove in yet. I guess.
What's interesting to me about this is this upgrade of the Vision Pro feels like a MacBook upgrade versus like an iPhone upgrade, right? The form factor didn't change. I mean, sure, there's a new headband, but like the guts of it, it's not the guts, but the casing of it, the way all of that stays exactly the same. And it's just like, yeah, we just put a different chip in there, and that's that, right? Which is what happened with the MacBook Pro. We see it happen. The form factor of those devices doesn't change every year like the iPhone does, or the Apple Watch, that kind of thing. So it's just interesting. I never thought of the wearable like it is more of a computer. I know we've talked about the function of it could be like more of a computer, but it's interesting to see that it's like, no, we are treating this like a computer. Yeah, because it is, right? Exactly. Yeah. It was interesting to me. It's like, oh yeah, they upgraded it without, like, if you could have two of them side by side and not be able to tell them apart near as I know, but so.
Yeah. So the other surprising thing I was surprised about is that they didn't do the thing. And again, this would have been more like an iPhone thing, to your point, treating it like a computer, that they're not still selling. Like, they didn't take the original one and drop the price by like $500 or $1,000 and still sell the M2. I think it has an M2 chip in it, M2 version of it, and continue to sell it at a lower cost.
Right.
So,
right.
Right. Or even better yet, I thought for sure they'd dump the stupid, do they call it eyesight? The eye thing on the front of it? They could have dumped that and saved a lot of cost and dropped the price too.
Oh yeah, just get rid of the screen. Yeah, that's right.
I don't know anybody that likes that feature or thinks it's useful. I mean, you can barely see it. It's
interesting.
Dumb.
Huh.
I mean, I got the idea, that whole presence thing, but
sure.
I don't think they need that, and they could really save some cost and drop the price. So it's interesting to see that they're still pushing it at this high price point.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I expected the first revision that we would see would be the Apple Vision Pro Lite or Air or whatever they want to call it, but the half price version that does slightly less but gets more people into the market.
Yeah, something costing less than $3,500.
Yeah,
to start.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's also heavier, by the way, by a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they made it heavier. Some people don't know if it's like the dual knit band or what.
Oh, maybe the band.
Heavier.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's not by a lot, but it is heavier. So
interesting. It's fascinating to me. Yeah, it's a new product class for Apple for sure. So fun.
I love mine.
Great.
Still do.
That I'm glad to hear. Yeah. That's how it should be. Anything else on the M5 in general, MacBook Pros, iPads?
I mean, is there anything hugely different on the MacBook Pro other than the processor?
I don't think so. Not from what my sort of quick glance is. No, it's
the touch bar is back. Just kidding.
Oh God.
No, it's not. No. Thanks, Pete. No, the touch bar is not back. Yeah. So.
Oh, wait.
Yes.
So it's just M5. What's up with that?
Oh.
Yeah, right. Yeah, not the Pro, the Max, the Ultra Max Pro.
Well, you can get the M4 Max and the M4 Pro.
Yeah.
But you can't. There is an M5 chip. That's interesting. Good catch.
The larger one looks like it's still only available as M4 Pro.
Right. It's the 14-inch that is that you can get with an M5. That's it at the moment.
That's interesting tactic.
Yes.
That's just different.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah. I don't know what the what the reasoning is behind that. Like, is it just chip availability, and so in the next couple of months we're going to see it spill over into the other ones, or is there something else?
Yeah, that's very interesting.
So,
Yeah.
so the M5 is not available in 16-inch.
Correct. That's what we're. Yes.
Goes away.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
yeah.
It looks like it is. I see
Bizarre.
it's grayed out. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No.
Or it goes
Yeah.
away. Yeah. Okay.
It just goes away. Yep. Kiwi Graham does point out that usually the higher chips, the Pro, the Max, are announced a few weeks later. So maybe that's why we're waiting. That's why it's not in the 16s yet, because they want to be able to offer the Pro and the Max in the larger screen model.
Those chips are still at the foundry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That's right. They're still cooking.
Looking at the specs, yeah, obviously the Pro and Max outrank the M4 Pro, the M4 Max far outrank the M5. So, in terms of all its features, core number of cores, number of GPU cores, memory bandwidth, all that stuff is
Still higher.
Yeah.
Yep. Interesting.
That's a little confusing. So hopefully Kiwi's right that this gets updated.
Yep.
The next couple weeks.
Which chip did you get in your M4 MacBook Pro? Is it just the baseline M4?
I think I just have I have the baseline M4. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I didn't go Pro. I was going on cost.
Yeah. It's gonna be fine for you. Yeah.
It's got the additional memory. I mean,
right.
I have 24 gigs of memory, so
yeah, I don't blame you. I have that in my laptop, and I have 32 in this machine here in the studio, but so my machine in the office is the 16 gig one, but I still don't think that's the issue with my perpetual indexing. We will find out. We want to do a gift guide thing this season, and we have a different way of doing it that I want to explain. The next thing that I want to explain, though, is our next sponsor, which is BBEdit from barebones.com. You know how we love tools that just work, right? Fast, smart, reliable, and BBEdit 15.5 fits that bill perfectly. It builds on BBEdit 15 with a boatload of performance improvements and new features that make working with text, any text, faster and more productive. Whether you're writing, coding, managing markdown documents, BBEdit delivers. And the new Apple Intelligence writing tools are built right in, so you can get inline proofreading, summarization, and help without ever leaving the editor. And if you're using Git, the new navigation tools are smooth and powerful. I love these. It is such a game changer. Love it. I also love the FTPS support. Perfect for those secure remote file edits that you need to do. And of course, I love the new strip diacriticals feature because it allows me to say the word diacriticals. And it also is great when you need to convert accented characters for ASCII workflows or automation. But also you just get to say diacriticals. Performance is noticeably better whether you're doing massive grep searches, multi-file edits, or parsing Markdown. BBEdit flies even faster than it did before, and you can try it free for 30 days. And if you're a customer from an older version, you get that fresh eval period, so you can go check it out at barebones.com/store. And remember, when it comes to your tools, don't get caught with anything less. And our thanks to Barebones for sponsoring this episode. All right. As far as this gift guide thing, we had this idea that we were kind of cooking up here, that each year when we do gift guide stuff, we wind up putting all new things in it. And that's fine, and we will do that. That's not going to be excluded. A gift guide is essentially just cool stuff found, but maybe a little more filtered. But it dawned on me that there are things I use that we have mentioned on the show years ago and perhaps a few times over the years that are so useful that I forget that I use them and I forget to talk about them. It's kind of like the idea of a quick tip, right? Like, what are those things that are so critical to you that you just find so much utility with that you forget about it because it's just there and you can rely on it, right? So the one thing that came to mind for me is actually something I don't even use, but Lisa uses, and that is the aftermarket wireless CarPlay screen. Her car does not support CarPlay. It's too old, and she doesn't want to get a new car because she loves her WRX that she drives. I know it's like her and all the like 20-something guys, and they wave at each other when they drive around. But we got her this 7-inch, and you can get different sizes, wireless CarPlay screen. We got it for like $80 2 years ago. Now it's down to $50, and there's a link, of course, in the show notes to Amazon for everything or wherever you can buy it from. And it's fantastic. Like, you just plug it in and it becomes your CarPlay thing. And it even links to her speakers via aux or Bluetooth. You can do it either way so that CarPlay sounds come out of the car, not just out of the speakers of the little unit. Phone calls work great. And it's CarPlay. And she was able to mount the screen on her dash, and it's in a perfect little spot that it just works. For $50, you can add CarPlay to your car. And she doesn't even think about it anymore. But if I went in her car and took it away, then we would be thinking about it. It's in terms of, why did you do that to me? And how will retribution for this work? Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's just a fantastic thing, and it was a Christmas gift for her. I really did it. It was a flyer. I was like, I don't know if she's gonna like this. I don't know if it's even gonna work. But for $80, let's try it. Let's see what happens. And it's become like indispensable. So that's my addition to the gift guide this time around.
You're sure? I have a similar one.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it many, many times, and it's the Wireless CarPlay CarLinkIt adapter. Little tiny box you plug in USB into your system, and it takes your wired CarPlay, which I don't know why Wireless CarPlay isn't supported on more vehicles in this day and age, but it isn't. But basically takes your wired CarPlay and makes it wireless. And it's like, literally, there's a simple little setup process when you get the unit, and once it's set up, it's pretty much set it and forget it. I think we've talked about, occasionally I have to reboot mine, unplug it and plug it back in. Every once in a while it doesn't do its thing, but 95% of the time it's just, I like you said, I don't even think about it. It's just in my car, it's set up. I get in my car, CarPlay comes on. I have my phone in my pocket or on the little wireless charger or whatever. I don't have to plug in a cable. It's been the most amazing little device. And again, $55 right now on Amazon for the current version. I have a much older version. I don't know what the differences are between the versions. I do know this. Anybody I've ever known, and I think, Dave, you brought this up. One thing is, I was noticing the new version has like a firmware update. Don't do it. If it's working, don't touch it. Don't change it.
They tell you that. They tell you right in the interface, which is not easy to get to. You have to go to a special URL and in your browser, but it tells you, don't update unless we have told you to update, because it might break a feature. And of course, I am completely a sucker for a glowing update button. So I have done updates on mine, and I regret it. One of them I had to roll back, but it only lets you roll back one version. Thankfully, the rollback was able to save me. But yeah, I was able to, phone calls stopped working or whatever. And it's they did tell me, don't do this. So
I've never updated mine, and it's just worked from day one. And so I don't know what the differences between the versions are, but
they tell
whatever
you,
the current version is. And if I want to update, I'll just buy a new one. I get $55. Just
yeah.
But I haven't felt the need, and it's just always worked. So it's a great little thing.
Yeah, we still have ours. You convinced me to buy one years ago, and we still have it in that car, which is my old car that Lucas now drives, but it's still in there. And it's a little, it's like a pack of cards. It's like a shallow, like a half a pack of cards. And I put some Velcro tape on it and stick it inside the center console, because it plugs into USB. So it's out of sight, out of mind. It's there's nothing. You don't see it. It you can put other things in there because I put it on like the roof of the like where you put your phone or your change or whatever. I put it like on the top of that, so it's not even seen. It's awesome, and it's got a little light that kind of lights that compartment too, which is kind of nice. So, yepper,
Cool.
you got one, Pete?
I do. 4.8 to AirTags, $99. Oh, wait, there's more. For a 35% discount, we have a link in the show notes for AirTags for $65. So a 35% discount, 34% if you're doing the math correctly. Yeah, and that seems to be pretty sticky. I bought these, I want to say 6 or 8 weeks ago at $64.99 for 4 AirTags, which is much better. Yeah, that works out to about 16
bucks. Yeah, exactly.
A piece. Yeah. And if you buy one from Apple, it's $29. So yeah.
That's pretty good because there are third-party AirTags that you can get in that $10 to $15 range now. Right. So this price might stop being a discount at some point, I would think. Yeah. So
yeah, fair enough.
I mean, you know, I don't know that, but like, if Apple wants to keep selling them, I don't know.
Things, so I find more and more places to put AirTags. Just
Yep.
Because I'm forgetful and I lose stuff.
Right. Yeah, exactly. No, the AirTags are great. Like yes. When you sent that deal over, I said to Lisa, I'm like, do you need an AirTag? And she's like, yeah, I think I could use one. Like I have one in my purse, but I'd like one on my key. And I'm like, yeah, okay, great. And so I was like, I'll order that. But I find that once I buy one of those 4-packs, at best, I will, with a week later, at best, I will have one left over because I just find other places to put them. So, you know,
I did until I want to say 2 or 3 days ago, and I went, oh,
yep,
there we go. I got another set of keys here. I need to put it on.
Yeah, right. It's just super. Like, why wouldn't you? Yeah. Maybe that's a segment here. What's your favorite place to put an AirTag?
Ooh. Keep it clean, folks.
Careful.
Jeez. You guys. One of my next thing for the gift guide is the Quartet glass dry erase whiteboard for your computer desktop. It looks and is the size of a computer keyboard. And I have mine in between my keyboard and my monitor. So it's just this one thing, and it's a whiteboard. It's glass, and I have it right here in front of me. I have one in front of me here and one down in the office, and I can just write on it if I have little notes, like while we're podcasting or while I'm on the phone or whatever, and it just stays right there. Super convenient. It actually. Like the reason I have it in the studio is it really allows me to focus on the show better, because when something comes to mind, like you guys are talking or whatever, one of you is talking and says something and it triggers like a thought. It's like, oh, I want to make sure I mention this. Well, if I don't write it on my Quartet board, then I've stopped listening to everything you're saying and I'm just waiting to speak. It's the human condition. So,
and then when you're ready to speak, it's gone.
It's gone. Correct. Yeah. Also that. Yeah, exactly. So I use this whiteboard primarily for that, but you know, in the office I use it for other things. Like if I'm on the phone with somebody, I just write stuff down and then I can process it afterwards. So it's like $30, $28 today on Amazon. So put a link to that in the show notes too. So, but I know we've mentioned it on the show before, but that's kind of the point of all this. So, yep. You got one more for us, Pete?
I do. I have the 12 South Airfly Pro, and someone was kind enough to let me sleep as she got up and then dragged her backside across the point where it jacked into the bulkhead in front of me and broke off the 1/8-inch jack. And
that's nice.
So thank you for letting me sleep. No, thank you for breaking my $50 Airfly Pro 2. But so I was looking for replacing it, and I found the UGREEN Airplane Bluetooth 6.0 transmitter and receiver. So like the AirFly Pro, it could be both a receiver if you're going to listen to the video output on, say, an airplane or at the gym on the treadmill, that sort of thing.
Right.
You've got all the screens up. But if you need it in your, for instance, your 2010 Civic Airport car, you can plug it into the aux and Bluetooth your phone to it, and now transmit your phone
goes both
out that way into your
directions.
car speakers. Yeah. So
Okay. I think you're burying the lead on this, Pete, because it's $19.
it's $19. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I haven't got one yet, so I don't know the quality, but
Okay.
Hey, for $19, I'm willing to take a chance.
All right. So this one doesn't quite fit in. It's fine. Like, it's a great thing for the gift guide. But it's not something that you've used for years and you've come to rely on. The AirFly
Correct.
Pro was, but
I just found it when I was looking to replace my broken.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm excited about this because this is the AirFly Pro. I have one too. Actually, I don't. I gave it to a flight attendant because she was so enamored with the idea of the thing. Yeah, you were there on the flight to Vegas last year. Yeah. So we used it and then I gave it to her and she's like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing." But I have yet to replace it. So, and I've been on flights where it's like, yep, probably shouldn't have given that away, but it was all right. It felt good in the moment.
Actually, I've got a quick ad hoc follow-up. Remember several weeks ago, we talked about, and now I forget the name of it, but it was the blinders and headrest that went around the seat. It was a pillow and blinders and headrest, and I'll look for it.
Okay.
And try to get it before the end of the show and get it into the show notes. But I used it on our flight out west a couple weeks ago, and the pillow was miserable. It pushed my head forward. I'm like,
this is a don't get caught. Don't use it.
Yeah. So, but I came up with a solution because what I did is I took the pillow out. I went to the hardware store and I bought 4 feet of Velcro, and I took the Velcro strap and did it. Now the Velcro strap goes around the headrest, holds onto the blinders. That holds your head in place, but it doesn't push your head forward.
Oh,
so the blinders are quite nice, and the ability to strap them around the headrest on the airplane actually makes it, and I forget what it was. It was in the $25 range for the.
Yeah, it was the travel pillow for airplanes. It's just a thing. It's $20. So I'll put that link in the show notes. It's from 1107. So, yep.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. I don't want to get too far off track here, though, because we're running out of time, and there's a question that we've kind of been kicking down the road a little bit here. We talked about it a little bit a few minutes ago, and the question comes from listener Paul, who asks, okay, well, should I upgrade from the previous OS, on my iPhone or Mac or whatever, to, Apple OS 26, whatever that happens to be? So we'll go around the room and discuss this. Adam, do you have thoughts on whether? Let's start with macOS 26. I think we're all okay with. I think we've said in the past we're all good with iOS is like a thumbs up. So maybe we can do a quick around the room on that. Yeah. Okay. So iOS, yes. iPad OS, I even say yes. Okay, great. TV OS.
Yep.
Yep.
I think that does it automatically for me. I don't know if I had a choice. I have upgrade automatically.
That was a choice at one point, Pete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do have to turn on auto.
I could turn on
you have to turn
OS.
on. Yeah. That's right.
So you made that choice. Whether you're still happy with that choice is a
there you go.
Different conversation.
Well said.
I think, all the iOS versions and flavors and things like that for the most part. WatchOS, I don't know. I don't even know if I can update to the latest on my Series 6. Maybe. I don't remember if I did or not. But absolutely, all the flavors of what I still call iOS is yes.
Okay.
And then macOS. So
macOS is the one that I want to talk about. Yeah. So go ahead. Yeah. No.
I feel like we've had a little bit of this conversation, but we can we can continue it. I'm still in the camp of macOS is not an automatic update for everybody, and I specifically, in my opinion, comes down to a couple of different decisions. One, how much do you rely on your Mac for day-to-day actual work versus, it's just the thing I use to, read emails and surf the web and just do general personal sort of stuff. So if you have business critical applications, business critical things that you absolutely rely on. So in my case, it's, obviously audio stuff for doing the podcast, like my Motu M4 interface. I need that. Does it work with Mac OS 26? I don't know. I haven't had time to do the research yet. So obviously I'm not going to update yet because I need to do my due diligence to make sure all of the things that I rely on a day-to-day basis are going to continue to function. And I'm not going to turn on my machine and go, oh, it's time to do the podcast. Why do I have no audio? And then find out, oh, there's not new driver updates available and they're not going to be available for, a month or 2 months or 3 months.
Right.
And now what do I do?
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Yep. How about you, Pete? Have you upgraded your Mac to Mac OS 26?
I have not. I think I need to get off my backside and do it. However, I'm just a little reluctant. I've read things like the bartender thing needs to be addressed, and it's just little things that I'm sure I will get. I'll get over. Once I go ahead and do it and pull the trigger and set it all up. I just have. I don't know why. Usually, I'm eager to change OSs. In fact, you may recall it was 15 years ago or so, maybe more, when I actually had the DVD in a MacBook Pro, and I was doing it in a hotel room in Indy, and you're like, man, gutsy move.
I do remember that. Yes. Yeah. It's like, you're not even in the country, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. But, so that was a gutsy move.
To be fair, that was before we thought about the fact that you could record the show remote. It still baffles me that we never thought to just have you connect the same way John always did. It's why was this? Yeah. So, I have updated to Mac OS 26 on everything except the studio machine. And that's simply for because I need this to be reliable, right? Exactly the reasons that you gave, Adam. And also it's just become my habit that I wait until 0.1 to update this machine. And there have been times where I've waited even longer than that, like May, June of the following year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But that probably won't happen here. I know that the drivers for my Personas interface are fine with Mac OS 26, so that's all good. In fact, they didn't even have to make changes to the drivers, which tells me that they probably will just remain reliable and all that good stuff, which is great. However, until 26.0.1, I was not going to tell people to update. Things were wonky for me. I need to get back into Bartender for Mac OS 26, Bartender 6, because it was so quirky for me right out of the gate. And I know they've been iterating like crazy too, right? But it was so quirky for me out of the gate that I would just be using my computer, and then suddenly I would, my CPUs would peg for 20 seconds, and my mouse would jump all over the screen while Bartender did whatever. Apple changed something fundamental that caused Bartender to have to rejigger everything about the way Bartender works. And Bartender, if you don't know what we're talking about, is an app that really helps you manage your Mac's menu bar and choose what appears there and choose what doesn't. The good news is the last couple of versions of Mac OS have also added the ability to control what widgets appear or don't appear in your menu bar. And so on my other two Macs, I'm not currently using Bartender. I want to go back to it because I want some of the flexibility that it offers, but I just used Apple's thing because it was like, well, I need to manage my bar. I have a notch on my, on my MacBook Air, so I have to do something. And that was the answer. But Apple's solution is kind of universal. You turn it off and you can never get there, or you turn it on and it's always there. So It's not quite as nice as Bartender, which gives you a separate little menu bar. But Bartender aside, even still, I mentioned before, like the indexing problems. I had indexing issues on both of my Macs until 2601, and then it calmed down completely on my laptop, my desktop machine. No, as I mentioned before. Michelle wrote in and said that she had an interesting issue with Safari. She said with macOS 26, she could not see her bookmarks in Safari or her reading list on her iPhone, even though everything was fine. And then 2601 fixed that. She had it on one of her other computers too, and it fixed that. They just all reappeared. Clearly there are some indexing things that are very different about OS 26 in general, across devices. And I think a lot of it has to do with the extra indexing that's happening for Apple Intelligence so that it can be efficient once it finishes the indexing at doing all the on-device stuff.
It really clings into all of your data.
Yeah, and in a sense, I want it to, right? Like I want it to know about everything so that when I ask it a question, presumably someday we'll actually even answer that question. So
I can't show it to you in the car.
Yeah, I know. Yes,
I'm asking and not typing.
Thanks, Apple. Yep, exactly. But like so I understand all of these things. I think there's as there always are, there are some quirks out of the gate. But I would say now with 2601, I feel confident saying, yeah, if you're itching to update, you can do it. If you're not, then I would wait another bump or two to either 02 or 03 or to 26.1 whenever that might happen. But that might not be till like January, February, depending on Apple's things.
Would you say also wait even at least a week from, say, 2602 comes out? Say, even wait a week for that, let other people find, they really goobered this one.
I mean,
especially if it's your daily driver.
I wouldn't know. If you're already on macOS 26, I would keep updating because what you're getting is bug fixes, right? So I would get those as fast as you can get them. And I still am considering putting the beta back on my desktop downstairs so that I can like take advantage of any bug fixes that are not rolled out to the public yet. Okay. But if you're waiting to update,
sure. I'm on 15.6.1.
If you're still on 15, then maybe wait a few days to see if there's something terrible. But really, at this point, those updates are bug fixes. They're not adding anything new, generally speaking. So, you got a thought, Adam?
No, I just pointing out, from my earlier comment, and I just thought this when Pete was talking about Bartender, is don't forget those small little utilities too that you like we talked about earlier with some of the gift guide stuff. It's the stuff that you use on a daily basis, but you never think about, right? It's just like, I wouldn't have thought to check something like Bartender normally, right? But I literally rely on Bartender to be there and to be working. And it would be one of those applications I don't think about, so all those little utilities, think about, that really old printer that you still have, that scanner that you rely on every 6 months, but never use, but, once a year, you're going to go to use it. And
like, that hasn't worked for 6 months and I'm just now finding out. Yeah, for sure.
Like this time of year, I know a lot of people use those like mailer label applications and stuff like that. It's like you use it once a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
did you want to use that again?
Right. Yep.
No. Don't forget the small stuff, I guess is what I would say. Just do your homework and make sure you're not going to get caught.
I love it. It's good advice. Great place to wrap this. Also, time-wise, it's a great place to wrap this. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. What's that?
I said wrap up there.
Oh, I see what you did there. Yeah. Make sure to visit macgeekgab.com/giveaway for our monthly giveaway with power photos. Make sure to visit macgeekgab.com/review to review the show. Make sure to visit macgeekgab.com/premium. Learn about our premium program, and thanks to all of our premium subscribers. Thanks to CashFly for providing all the bandwidth to get the show from us to you. If you would like to hear more from each of us, you can hear more from Adam at his debut film podcast, Pete's So There I Was podcast, and My Business Brain and Geek Gab podcast. They're all linked in the show notes. And we love hearing from you. I know we said it several times in the show, feedback at macgeekgab.com. We still do get comments occasionally from folks who are like, I couldn't quite figure out how to email you. It's like, wow. I guess we need to say it more frequently during the show. Yeah. So we will.
Feedback at macgeekgab.com.
That's right.
Yep. Feedback at macgeekgab.com.
Feedback at macgeekgab.com, and don't get caught, folks.
Made on a Mac.
Later.